Yes, guys, Suki from BTSTV, fueled by Explosive 8 and GSN. So today is our first recap from a weekend, and no better timing than the Olympia. So I had to get in the big men, the pros, and each one of these guys have a reason to be here. So first is my co-host, Matt. Everyone should know Matt Parker by now, GMT, absolutely killing it as a coach. Quality stuff, mate. Look, our most recent retired Ifbb Pro, now enjoying the Ifbb Pro pension life. Had to bring this guy in because he's the last UK competitor to compete against Samson. So Josh Maley, mate, awesome to have you here. And of course, look, man, this guy was the poster boy for Pure Elite, world fittest model champion, then turned classic physique, and now, mate, you're probably best known as Ryan Terry's training partner. And of course, Josh
seems to go by that name at the minute. Yeah.
You guys all good?
Yes, thank
you.
Mate.
Yeah, sound.
I think we're all probably buzzing after that weekend.
Well, mate, let's start, mate. Look, let me start with the first question. I mean, I'm going to throw it to yourself, Matt, first, mate. Olympia weekend, in my eyes, I think that was probably my favorite Olympia to date in regards to entertainment. Obviously, there are a few other things, but I got to ask a question to you guys first. Where does this Olympia stack against other previous Olympias in regards to you being your favorite or most entertaining or most competitive? Keen to hear your thoughts. Matt, you go first, mate.
I mean, a lot of us will probably be really passionate about this one because two Brits brought it home, right? So we're all going to absolutely love that. Samson, we knew it was going to come at some point, and it's just absolutely epic that he got it this time around, and then Ryan Terry second time. So that in itself, I think, made it quite special. But yeah, all around, I think it was just quite competitive. C-Bum retiring as well. I'm sure we're going to cover all of this, but a lot of things happened, and it was just really cool to watch.
What were yourself, Josh Maley?
Yeah, no, I thought
Damn, you know what, mate? Okay, before we start this, I need to assign names. I need to assign Josh Blue, Josh Maley. I can't say your full names every time. So I'm just going to go by Viking for Josh Maley, and then
that'll do.
Josh for Josh. There we go.
Yeah, we'll go with that. No, I thought it was fantastic because it's just obviously for me, like the Open and the 212, like I'm a bodybuilder, they're the ones that I take most interest in. And the Open especially, just going in, there was just so much, uncertainty. You didn't know who it could have gone anyway. And even on the day, you could make arguments either way. But for me, like Samson definitely had it. I predicted it. My predictions. One of the only people I think you did in your predictions for the win. And I was just based off of seeing him in flesh in France. Like the guy looked unreal. I know people talk about condition, but it's one of those where a bigger bodybuilder is always going to beat a smaller bodybuilder. And they were very much on par in a lot of aspects. But then you get Samson, who is 30, 40 pounds heavier with superior shape and just, I don't know if everyone's met him, but just such a nice guy. So it makes it even easier to love that he won it. I was very happy.
What about yourself, Josh? I mean, mate, you were there. You lived it.
I was there. I saw it. I would honestly say I hadn't been to the past Olympiads. Like, this is my first Olympia, and what a one to go to, by the way. But I would say, as like standard goes, I think that was the most exciting Olympia we've seen probably since the days of when, there's like the Phil and the Kai battle. I think ever since then, there's been some wicked Olympias, some great athletes, but like you said, Josh, I think it's just wide open. Like, there's so many people that could have cracked the top 5, top 6, and it could have gone anywhere. I think we knew the top 3 was probably going to be the top 3. Again, could have been in any order. But I think as far as a standard of athletes goes, I think that's probably the most exciting we've seen in 10 years at least. I think it's just insane. Everyone really was on point actually in person. Like, they were all like mega.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, obviously, excitement and what he did. Like, obviously, Samson winning, Ryan Terry defending, C-Bum winning and retiring. The battle between Kiana, Sean, Trudy in fitness coming back, Cindy retiring in figure. The bikini girl left my head, but I know she's been knocking on the door for a while. Exactly, all the bikini girls like, how do you not remember her name? Yeah. But yeah, all that just adds to excitement. I would say I probably would say I've seen better standard in regards to open class from previous years. But I did not draw away from the entertainment of the fact that when it came to prejudging Hardy, Samson, and Derek swapping turning, you were really up in the air thinking, you know what, this could go any way. And it showed when you saw the prejudging scores at the end of Olympia, knowing that, you know what, this is actually going down to the wire versus previous years. The winner has normally taken the prejudging. So that's what probably brought the entertainment factor. But look, I want to start this first question. And to be fair, Josh, Viking mate, you already jumped on it already. So this question is to yourself, mate. You probably should know better than anybody else because you stepped at the stage against Samson in France 2 weeks before the Olympia. You also predicted that Samson would win. You got some haters on that post I did.
Some doubters.
I know, man, saying like a typical Brit going to support Samson. And look, the guy did. He completely ripped up the rule book in regards to did a show 2 weeks, took his shirt off a press conference. His wife is his coach. So I want to throw it to yourself, mate. When you were in France, what did you see from Samson that made you think, you know what, this guy, he's going to take it. He's going to take that title.
I mean, obviously, I've not seen the other guys in person, so you know, I can only go off of just it's just a wow factor. Like, you know, I know like people talk about like his condition, obviously lacking kind of previously. That's why he's never come through, and you know, maybe the other guys weren't as hard, but I think they might not have been as hard because they're starting to play his game and realizing he's that much bigger that they need to kind of be of a similar, as close as they can. But like in person, his condition looks loads better. And again, like when I saw that, and just the air of like, I don't know, like supremacy, like that he has about him. Not arrogance, but just like there's just, you know, when he was walking backstage, like it's just got that champion vibe. And like Matt said earlier, like he knew, like we knew it was coming. It was literally a matter of time. And I genuinely think this could be like, depending if he wants it or not, like an era of Samson, because I can't see him getting any worse. I can only see as him and Marlena continue to kind of, I know they've worked together a lot in the past, but like as they continue to build on that kind of peaking and coaching process, they're only going to get it better. You know, realistically, does the guy need any more or much more size? Probably not. So he can just, you know, really focus on the finer things. And if you refine an already ridiculous physique like that, it's been very hard to beat.
Well, yourself, Matt, what do you think, mate?
The thing is about Samson, mate, he's got it all. He's got it all now that he's brought in that extra condition as well. Like, he's very aesthetic. I saw on Instagram someone photoshopped some board shorts on him saying that he could do men's physique because his waist is that tight. You know, he's got a really nice tight midsection. He's just got that X-frame look and he had a size with it. So, like Josh, I don't know. Like, I think he could hold the title for some time, and it'd be really, really cool to see that because he's just, like everyone says, he is a nice guy, and I think he's a good champion. The fact that he loves to compete, it's like the old days, you know, where bodybuilders just competed over and over. Like Milos, for example, he's a classic legend in the sport. He liked to compete a lot, and I feel like Samson's very similar in the fact that he does like to compete a lot, and that's what the fans like to see. So it's good to see, and that's why, again, he won the People's Champion Award. And a lot of people don't really sort of recognize that, but it's pretty cool that he won that because it shows how supported he is. So yeah, it's just cool to see, man.
Hey, Josh Bloom. I mean, were you obviously you were at Olympia, you're at Vegas. Did you get to see Samson in person when he was on stage at any point?
Oh, what, on stage?
Yeah.
I watched it for pre-judging and finals. Yeah, I was there for all of it. So yeah, I watched both night shows, and do you know what? When he came out, there was just automatically in your head, you went, "It's Mr. Olympia." You know, when someone's got like an aura and a presence, it was like this show. He showed up, and it was like, "I'm taking it." He could just see it, and even when like Derek and Hattie followed and they came out, like especially Derek, you could see that he was like really knows he's going to have to fight for it, and looked a bit nervous, like coming out. You could just see almost like the confidence just drop a bit, and Samson just owned it literally from start to finish all the way through. It's just like, I feel like if you took anyone from public and said, who do you think's the Mr. Olympia? They'd be like, that guy, like straight away. Even taking out bodybuilding criteria, just an aura and a presence. Like people always say that about T-Bone with Classic. He just got an aura when he walks into a room, but Samson just seemed to have that all weekend. Just walked out on stage and he was like, Mr. Olympia.
You knew he was confident because of what he did at that press conference.
Yeah, that was all. He was standing up, and I was like, something's going to happen here. Yeah, and he just started whipping it up, and I was like, you could see the look. Obviously, like when you're looking in like Derek and everyone's eyes, just looking, thinking, that's a big dude. Like, yeah.
Oh,
it's a bold movement, isn't it?
That definitely must have got in their head a bit, you know. You're like Arnold back in Pumping Iron, you know, where he hid that guy's t-shirt and stuff. Like getting in there a bit. That's a bit of that mind game going on. I liked it. It was good.
It's wicked. It's what people want to see as well. You just want like have some entertainment, spice it up, chuck it about, and yeah, it was wicked.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is then, because we've got to look at the last 2 years. The last 2 years, Hardy and Derek have both won Olympias and both have come through 212. And then, of course, you know, Keon's beaten Sean in 212, and Keon's a much larger 212 versus Sean. Part of my question is, I want to throw this out to you guys, because I think that the Olympia lot probably knew Chris Bumstead was going to retire this year, and therefore they're going to lose the poster boy, the main guy that brings all the eyes to Olympia, who's really brought Olympia to the mainstream section. And if you ask any other mainstream normal fan, if they saw a picture of Keon next to Hardy or Keon next to Derek, they probably won't notice too much difference because, of course, the height and very compact. And then you see Samson, who looks completely opposite to everybody else. Do we think now there is a clear sign that the direction that Olympia wants to go now is they want to go for size more than anything else, which really opens doors for future competitors, especially people like Andrew Jack? So, I mean, Josh Maley, what's your thoughts on that? Being a big guy yourself.
I think it's shape. I think they've got an idea in their head about what they want rather than size. Like the fact that Samson is 300 pounds, it's just the way it is. But like that's not why he won. Like he could be, you know, a foot shorter, and I still think would be, you know, beat Derek and Hadi. Like the shape that he has, the flow. You know, you mentioned Andrew, and obviously he got a lot of like. He always does, rightfully so, because he's like what they say, like the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding. But like, I'd still argue that Samson's flow of his physique is so much nicer. Like that, Andrew's got incredible shape and freaky, but there's just something about Samson that is completely different. And in a similar vein to Keon, like although Keon I would say is even freakier in terms of shape, just from his like waist to shoulder ratio being of the height he is. And I think it's good. Like. Obviously, bodybuilding is bodybuilding. And you're always gonna, you know, these guys are the genetic elite. And, you know, you're not going to be able to force yourself to look like them. But it's a very good look to promote the sport, I think, rather than just, you know, like Hadi is freaky as hell, conditions nuts, but like the shape is good. You know, same with Derek, but I'd say like Derek's a little like. His back is insane. There's kind of a little bit of disparity between front and legs, whereas just Samson has a very even, very beautiful physique that should be rewarded. And I think they've wanted to reward it. Like obviously since he won the Arnolds, they've known, you know, this guy is coming. It's just you can't reward substandard condition at the Olympia, and that's where he's come in the past kind of couple. So.
Well, let's just touch a second play to Hardy. So I want to just play this part of this interview we had after the show. I want to get your thoughts on it. So just give me a second, because obviously this was Hardy. Obviously, I had an interpreter straight after the show. I don't know how long it must have been afterwards. Couldn't be too long, because you could tell that he was still obviously distraught about the result. I'm going to see if this is the right one.
Always dangerous talking too close to the show.
yeah, these interviews were interesting. I've watched them back.
I've done a lot to be the most shredded, be the most conditioned. I'm thinking about all those meal preps that I've done the whole year.
میتونستم خیلی کمتر وزنه بزنم، خیلی کمتر رژیم بگیرم و یه گنده بیام و چپ‌تر بیام.
I could have done less for the whole year and be even bigger, not as shredded though. He's
Did you hear that part?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear your thoughts, because he said I could have done less, which obviously is a kind of, I mean, I saw it as more of like, well, clearly the judges have gone for size over condition, and if he knew that, he'll just go and play the size game. I mean, Josh Blue, what how did you take the hard interviews afterwards, if you had a chance to see any of them?
Yeah, I've watched all the interviews. You could tell he was obviously butthurt. Even I think he's saying that, like, yeah, he has great condition. His back wasn't actually like inside out. Like his midsection obliques are phenomenal. So when he does the ab shots and he does like a front double, it vacuums in nice. It's like really obvious to see that his midsection's amazing. His chest and shoulder striations are decent, but his back's still something to be desired and conditioning wise to balance from the front. And I mean, it's hard. I don't know what it's like to get third place at the second place at the Olympia after you probably think you're going to win. But yeah, it seemed like he was using a bit of an excuse, saying, "Oh yeah, I could have just come in bigger." Well, if he was going to play size game, you're not going to beat him anyway. Like, no one can play the size game against Samson. Like, I think if I was Hadi, I would have come in even more peeled and tried to just go super condition route, because yeah, you're just not going to beat Samson in the size game. And Samson just did. He had enough condition along with everything else to win. But yeah, it's watching them interviews, it just seemed like butt hurt, and I don't know where you go from there.
Unfortunately, we know he is a little bit of a sore loser, isn't he? He walked off stage last year.
He does say in the interview as well, he goes, "Oh, it's different for me because I have the whole weight of the country on my head." He's like, "I'm not like any other competitor." And I'm like, I guess so. I don't know what it's like to obviously be from Iran and go through that. But
we'll talk about stuff. Not really sore loser, but then Derek's interview really took off. I mean, I remember I posted parts of the interviews and they went mental, like 600, 700,000 views. It was mad. But I'll play the last one. This is the one that really ticked a lot of people off, including Sean Ray, who replied and did a comment about it, and he wasn't really happy about what he said. But let me play you this last part of the interview.
Hopefully you and Hani will come up with a big plan, and the next year you come back and retain that title.
I mean, that's the goal, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's as far as I can see at this moment. So,
all right, well, thank you, Derek Lunsford, and we will see.
In fact, you know what? No, it was this one. Sorry, mate, that was it.
If the Olympia title isn't where he can use me the most, then I don't want it. I don't want it. So, yeah.
I mean, that was the one where saying, talking about God, obviously, which of course, he's a man of faith. So that's one thing you can never doubt on one's religious beliefs. But the ending about, like, look, if that's not where he wants me, then I don't want it. I don't want it. So I guess my question there, I mean, let me throw yourself, Josh Maley. What did you take from Derek's interview there? Because once again, he has just come off stage, so his head's probably all over the place. He's dropped from first to third. But I mean, some of those answers are very deep, and you could take a lot from it. So, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not religious in the slightest, so there's every chance I'll offend people if I talk too much about how I feel like it's a little bit of a kind of cop out to, say like, "Oh, God's plan," and all that. Like, you're the one putting the work in. You're the one who has spent the whole year trying to get the title. So it's no one else's fault, or there's no other excuse except on yourself. And also, just appreciate that it's bodybuilding. You come against two of the best bodybuilders on the planet right now. Come up short, and I don't think he looked as good. So it's not like he came at his best. I think last year he did better, and lost, and it was controversial. Like you say, first to third, it's pretty conclusive that you've not done what you needed to do, and it must suck. Like, I think any champ returning is a very brave person, because the temptation to step out on top must, like, I know if I won the Olympia, I'll be fucking out of there. I'll be like, thank you, good night, mic drop, I'm done. I'm not losing this, and that's that. So, you know, you've got to respect that. But yeah, I don't massively respect the kind of diversion of, oh, if it's not meant to be.
What's your thoughts, Matt?
He was probably just really upset, wasn't he? And just sort of relying on his faith to maybe make him feel better. I'm the same as Josh. I'm really not religious, so I don't want to offend anyone, but it seems like it's a way to kind of make himself feel a little bit better about what happens. But again, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with everything that Josh said there. He just got beat by better guys, and that's it, really. That's the end of the day. And you know what? I actually think Martin could have potentially beaten him as well.
Yeah,
I think
next
so.
year we need to watch out.
I found the whole thing really bitter and so disappointing, because at no point in that interview did he kind of acknowledge Samson as a previous champion. I didn't see at any point did he acknowledge the fact that Samson won. I mean, look, we all know Samson's story from where he's come from Nigeria to the UK to Olympia, and you know that was a disappointing part of that. And then to how he answered, his whole body language, even how he left the interview, which is so up in the air. And for someone who talks about carrying himself as a champion, then the same thing goes with carrying himself when you've been defeated by what's seen as the better bodybuilder. So yeah, it was massively disappointing. And then again, you see that with Hardy in a way, I thought as well. Both guys obviously with Hardy Rombard probably being hammered in the head that, you know, he's so used to having winners, so used to guys bringing back the Olympia title, and it didn't happen on this occasion. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a very disappointing look. But let's just not take anything away from Samson. I mean, the story of him going from Nigeria to the UK, working a full-time job in 2020. We've seen the old UK BFF videos, and to see what he pulled off, you know, 27 years since Dorian Yates last won the title. We will all be singing "It's coming home, football related." But you know what? Football goes out the window, because what he's doing has been nothing but unbelievable. The one thing I want to throw out to you guys is we've seen when Big Ramy won the Olympia for the first time, goes back to his country. It's a massive big deal. Hardy, same thing. Today, I've looked over the last couple of days. I saw something come up on a few mainstream papers, or more online, more digital than actually print. But do we feel that the Samson win has gone more under the radar on the mainstream circuit? So
I think unfortunately it's just not a mainstream sport here, is it? Like like Brazil, for example, it's massive. India, it's massive. In the UK, it's still not like a mainstream sport. So to everyone in the industry, it's absolutely huge, and obviously we're all celebrating it. But yeah, mainstream media, it's I don't think they really want to know, do they?
Yeah, I think the UK media are vultures, though. Like, I'm quite glad it's gone fairly under the radar, because whenever bodybuilding comes up in mainstream media, it doesn't take long to, you know, come up with some old stories of some dickhead who killed someone because he was taking a bit of gear or something, and you know, that's just the way it's seen. And
yeah, I think we've seen it.
I can't see that change. Like, you know, in the UK, it just seems like a bit of a dirty sport. But then everyone who's in it, we love it, and we you know, we have a huge amount of respect. And anyone who like comes, like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen, like, when one of your friends who knows nothing about bodybuilding comes to a bodybuilding show, like, oh my god, it's like the nicest place ever. Like, it's such a like I didn't expect it to be like that. But you know, the people who, I suppose, write about articles and stuff, they're not really interested in. You see it across all sports though. Like, when do we really get positive media coverage of sport in this country, of English supporting the English? Never. We just love hammering people.
Yeah, it's just in our nature, in the media's nature. But let's just move on to one person who's been a poster boy for the UK bodybuilding industry for well over a decade. And that is obviously Ryan Terry. And look, Josh, mate, you're the guy we need to go to here, because we saw the stuff lead up to it. We saw the pictures, but what we don't know is the stuff in between, like prejudging to finals. And I'd love to ask you this, mate. Like, when you guys were there, when he came off stage, what was the overall feeling from the team, from the camp, of his performance on stage? Did you guys feel that, you know what, he's in a driving seat?
Yeah, 100%. We all did, genuinely. I know everyone was banging on about Ali Bilal all year. Obviously, had 2 good showings. Never really seen him against anyone crazy in men's physique lineup wise. Has been against like I think he beat Vitor, Chavez, but yeah, Ryan's literally just got better and better every year. And obviously, being their first-hand trainer, see him in the gym, see him in New York like 2 weeks out. It was on when you're actually there in person. To me, it was like night and day. From the front, just obviously that's like Superman shot, the hips, hands on hips. It's just the symmetry. I know when people turn to the side, it's like, okay, cool, you're showing a bit more oblique, but when you see a physique straight bang down the middle, yeah, we was all filled with like massive confidence, like when he came out, especially turning to the back. It's just the detail from traps, mid rhomboids all the way through. Yeah, I think if people, there were some people in the crowd like that were sat around me that were thinking it was close, and I think Ali's going to take it because it was from the front, and when they turned him around, it was just game over.
Well, so you're saying after you all felt confident. Was that also reciprocated by Ryan? How was he feeling when he came off stage after prejudging?
Yeah, he felt great after coming off to prejudging. He just obviously was asking all us like, how did it get on? It's hard. I guess it's hard to know when you're on there, but they kept him in the middle the whole time. I think they switched him and Ali around, but I just said, I was like, that's for entertainment purposes, like, and it showed because obviously the scores he got straight first for every single judge. But yeah, it was after prejudging, it was confident going into the finals. It was like, okay, let's just done the work. Now let's just make sure we slam the door shut.
Matt, I know you love the men's physique class. I mean, do you have any questions for Josh about maybe some of the everything that's happening in the background of the at the Olympia weekend?
Not so much questions. I can go over what I saw. I mean, it was a very, very good show to watch because obviously I watched the prejudging. I was there in person. I agree everything with what Josh said. When Ryan came out, and when you went through that first comparison round, it was pretty clear that Ryan had it. I'll be honest though, I don't think it was like a massive, like easy win. I do think Ali looked good, but Ryan was bigger. He definitely was bigger. Ali is aesthetic as well, but Ryan just has the density. It was a clear win, but it wasn't like a easy, clean sweep, in my opinion. I'm a big Ryan Terry fan. I'm a huge fan of his. But yeah, it was just great to see that. And there was a few other guys from the UK. Well, 2 other guys from the UK that I do think we should cover as well after Ryan, because they also did great. But yeah, no, it's just great to see Ryan take that second title. And I think he is going to hold it for a couple more years for sure, if he wants to. I don't know his opinions on that. I don't know, Josh, if he's elaborated any more on that at all.
Well, that was I actually had a question here because I remember at the end of the Olympia, there was obviously the question. I think he mentioned Jeremy Buendia showed the 4 sign. Yes, he's got 4 titles. He's 35, which means if he wanted to go all the way to set a record of winning 5 Olympias, that would take him 2027. So I guess, yeah, what we all probably want to know is that in Ryan's head about that goal of setting a record for men's physique Olympia wins?
In a quick answer, yes. Nice. Yeah. I think he even put a post out today, to be fair, just saying, yeah, it was amazing to retain it, but I'm only just getting started. So there's more in the tank for sure.
So is he really thinking that, you know what? I mean, 35, the more young guns are coming through and he keeps knocking them away. I mean, he just keeps dominating. I'll say this. I found this men's physique class so boring. And this is the reason why, because it was so dominating for Ryan. Yes, Bilal looked great, but he was second best in all the poses. And the muscle maturity, Bilal's condition was fantastic, but Ryan's was better. Bilal's back is great, but Ryan's better. I thought competition-wise was nowhere near as strong as previous Olympias, but Ryan was still have beaten all of them. If Brandon was there, if Brandon brought what he had last year, he would have beaten him. Aaron Banks, I thought, did underwhelm me from previous Olympias.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean by the class being boring, because it was such a dominant win. I probably would go as far as saying that of all the classes from Olympia, that was the most dominating win. I would be amazed if it was a perfect score from Ryan Terry, because I could not give a single point to anybody else.
Yeah, it was straight firsts. It was perfect score. So yeah, people may think it was close. You know, it may have been, but yeah, judges didn't have Ali, and I think even a judge had Ali in third at one point on the score sheet, I think, by the way it adds up. But yeah, I agree. There's definitely been some lineups in the past, like you say, with Brandon, and no one knew what Jeremy was going to do last year coming back. So you had Brandon, Jeremy, and Erin were all Mr. Olympias on the stage last year. So you could say that was a stacked lineup. But yeah, I guess you're right, Jim. When you look at all the classes, it's probably the most convincing win.
Yeah, that's what myself, Josh and Maley. I know obviously bodybuilding 212 is your neck of the woods, but I guess you've been competing for such a long period. You've also have seen the rise of Ryan Terry after all of those years through the old UK BFF days, through the many Olympias. There must be some part of you that's just nothing but respect for the lad.
Oh mate, Ryan's the nicest guy. I've been lucky to meet him a few times, and he's just like every British bodybuilder who is good. They just have that ability to kind of remember people and make them feel kind of worthwhile. And he's always had time for me. But I just love that never give up attitude. There must have been so many times when he was sort of flirting, from sort of second place to fourth place and whatnot, where it could have been, maybe it's just, not to be. He's sort of 10 years deep into competing at that level, and then he's just kept going and like found his stride. And for someone like, I'm 36, so like I know how hard it's been to, progress. The kind of the older you get, it doesn't get any easier. And he just kept going. And like, again, like I don't spend loads of time watching physique. It's just not my vibe. But like when I watched and I saw him on stage, yeah, like that Ali guy like had like a really nice side shot. I don't even know if they still properly judge that or not, but a sort of twisty one. But then as soon as Ryan turns around, there's no one coming close. And from the front, like Josh said, he's just so symmetrical. I don't think there's probably a more perfect set of like abs on the planet. And in a class where that's a big fucking factor, you've got to be unreal to kind of get ahead of him. So it was so good to see, because again, like I mentioned earlier, like going back as a champ, it takes balls, and then to get that must be, I don't know, was there more of a sense of like relief, Josh, or was it all kind of elation? Like, because I know if it were me, like I'd probably feel more relieved than elated. I imagine the first one would have been right up there on that spectrum. But
yeah, I guess probably a bit of both, to be fair. I mean, even I was sat there and like you just know, I knew in my head, I was like, it's 1,000,000% Ryan's got it, like 1,000,000%. I have zero doubts. But you still don't know until they say. Do you know what I mean? You still don't know until they say. And I just sat there like that, just like, come on. And then, yeah, I was almost even like relieved, but even though I knew he was still going to get it. But yeah, he said like this second one meant way more than the first. It's like kind of just like marking your foot in the ground rather than just a one-off.
That's it. It just consolidates. Like, I fucking deserve this big time.
Yeah,
I think he could do what Jeremy did and surpass it, that 4 titles. Because it used to be back in the day, Aaron Banks had the best back on that stage. Now Ryan's is better than Aaron Banks is. Like, and he's just balanced front to back. Like, so when he has the best back on the stage and that balances that with the front, that's, it's very, very hard to beat. So, and all he has to do now is maintain it, because he's at his cap, right, Josh? Is that right? He was on his cap?
Yeah, I think he actually managed to weigh in 3 pounds under. So pretty much bang on it, yeah.
Well, look, I think, I agree. I see Ryan breaking a record, 5, roll on 2027. That's the Olympia everyone needs to be at. But let's just go to one of the other Brits as well. Because I wasn't sure that it was 2, there was 3 Brits, because the other lad, Zach's client, has got a Sweden flag on his bio. So I wasn't even sure he would represent Britain. But Matt, do you want to touch on Emil and Zach's client as well? I'm sure they're the guys you want to talk about.
Yeah. So Ado, Zach's client, did very, very well. It's his first ever, I believe it's his rookie season as a pro. So he's one and done, got his Olympia qualification, his first pro show. And then I think he did Alicante. I don't know where he placed at that one, but he didn't win it. But then anyway, they went back to the drawing board, came back to Olympia. And I believe he placed top 16 in his first Olympia, which is very, very good. And he looked awesome up there as well. So yeah, shout out to Zach and Ado because they smashed it. And I believe, you know, he's so quite fresh into the sport too. So I can see him really leveling up through the ranks. Definitely got a bright future ahead. And then Emil Walker, I get on with Emil. I consider him a mate. Like, he is very, very good competitor. And my eyes were drawn to him when he walked out. Like, his condition was very good. His midsection is nuts. He still needs to fill out his chest a little bit more and work on his posing. If he did those two things, I think he would definitely place a lot higher. I'd like to know what his judges' feedback was. It probably was that.
Well, we know about Emil's back this weekend. Obviously, did his Italy show, came third, lost to his mate Yemi. And obviously, the other lad who already won his ticket to Olympia. But now, of course, he's back this weekend at the Two Bros show. The Two Bros, which have currently blocked me. I'm still blocked. Despite reporting my show. We'll continue with that. That we'll save up for another day. But that is still.
No, I can't believe you're giving them free publicity. What's all that about? Shocking.
I need content, man. I need content. I need
you advertise in a federation and be like, we'll block him. What?
It is weird. But okay, let's move on to classic because another person who, one person who made his debut this year. Let's not talk about C1 yet. Let's wait from a little bit to the end. There's a few people I want to touch on first. Darwin. So Darwin made his debut. Cal's Klein broke into the top 16, not just the top 15, sorry, but actually took 11th place. So Josh Blue, mate, classic is your neck of the woods. What did you make out of his physique?
Honestly, he looked mint. He looked wicked. I remember I saw him when he got his pro card. I was at that show. And the improvements he's made from then, obviously, to get to the Olympia is just insane. His shape, flow, everything's wicked. Condition was good. His muscle bellies are, you know, just like really nicely sitting on his physique. Great taper. I honestly think, you know, I have no doubts he's going to qualify for the Olympia next year. Like, zero doubts about that. Then getting top 11 out of how many classes you guys were, like 58 or something, or between 50 and 60 anyway, and getting 11th is just awesome in his first Olympia. He did look, honestly, look wicked. And being in the crowd, there's a few people just like who have no idea who he is going, oh my God, who's that guy? Because there's only like every so many guys, someone would come out and you'll go, you know, when they stand out, because let's face it, there's like 60 guys. A lot of them can look very samey or just like, okay, he's okay. But yeah, he looked wicked and was really noticeable.
I believe he was one and done as well, wasn't he, for his qualification to the Olympia?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Which is pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
What was he in? Was it the Texas or?
I can't remember which show we did, but I mean, I know obviously now he's doing the Olympia in Brazil, which of course is very Brazilian heavy, but I know he's obviously going there to one of the highest ranked Olympians. So there's no doubt. I mean, after seeing some of the transformation pictures from his previous shows over at UKUP and of course the early Two Bros shows, incredible stuff, and definitely one now. You know, when your name is in there in my top 12, like he even beat Logan Franklin. Logan Franklin's been to Olympia a few times. He's come back after a couple of years. There are definitely some seasoned competitive beaten. But let's just talk about one guy as well. Let me throw it to yourself, Matt. One guy that was on the press conference day, the day before the Olympia. A lot of talk was about this guy. Would he challenge Sebum? Could he take the win? And that's Wesley Vissers, and he dropped to 8th after taking the win. So, what do you make of that?
Really interesting, mate, isn't it? Really interesting. I mean, I saw the pre-judging in person. I thought Wesley looked good. I would like to see, to be honest, I haven't seen this. I'd like to see the comparison shots of what he looked like at Arnold's, his stage shots, right next to his Olympia look. Did his look actually drop off? Or is it that everyone else was just a lot better at the Olympia, which is why his placings dropped? Because from what I saw, he looked pretty good, but there were others that were just better. I didn't think he was off. I just think there were others better. But again, I'd like to see the comparison to see that. But yeah,
ones on that, and I think the main difference that I saw was he was fuller at the Arnold's, and that really held his legs up. And obviously that's his weak point, and I think he was peeled, but just that element of fullness was lacking. Although there was a bit more detail, his legs then went, and then obviously when you're against guys who've got legit wheels and it throws your balance off a little bit, I think that probably was a contributing factor.
Well, according to Wesley, you're all wrong. It wasn't anything to do with his physique. As if we go and listen to this interview, this one, that is said. I shared this the other day, but let me know what you guys think about this. Where is it?
Maybe it is true that the Arnold and the Olympia judge a bit differently, depending on what kind of physique they want to see. I'm, of course, as I mentioned, a golden era bodybuilder. And maybe here they judge a little differently, different lighting. You just don't know.
But there we go, guys. You are all wrong. It's the judges and the lighting. You're all wrong. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, Josh Blue, mate, what's your thoughts of that kind of response?
Do you know what? From an athlete's sake, they really shouldn't do interviews as soon as you get off stage. It doesn't help them out. It does not help them out. Like
no, keep doing that. Keep doing that, because that interview got me like 300,000 views. So keep doing it.
But yeah, do you know what? I was sat there and I was obviously waiting for Wesley to come out and Ramon, and like you was there yourself as well, Matt. And I was like, because obviously Wesley beat Ramon, beat us all at the Arnold Classic. So I was gonna just wait and go, okay, let's come out, let's see what happens. I felt like Wesley wasn't as sharp, and maybe, like you said, Josh, he probably wasn't as full, didn't have that pop, so it didn't look like the muscle was like right to the surface of the skin. So I think he was like lacking a little bit of pop and fullness, which made him not look as sharp. But then, and again, I saw Ramon, and I was like, was Ramon miles better than the Arnold? Not really, I don't think. It was a bit, but he was like, Ramon was like drenched in sweat as well, and he was like, tan was leaking a lot and stuff in prejudging. So I was thinking, like, Wesley beat him at the Arnold quite considerably, in my opinion. And then you get to the Olympia, and I just don't know. But then you've got a load of other people in the mix between fourth and Wesley getting eighth. So yeah, it's hard to tell. Even if Wesley was closer to him, there's a lot of other people in between. So whether he deserved to get eighth, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen him, because he did get called in a top line of like, I don't know if it was 6 or 7, I think. But I would have liked to see him move around a little bit. Maybe putting through his poses more, see if he came a little bit more to life on stage. I don't know, but I hope he comes back and smokes everybody, and I hope he gets just gets a massive set of legs on him. But yeah, I don't think he was as good as he was at the Arnold's.
Well, let's talk about one person who did make a big splash, and Matt, I'm pretty sure you're a fan of this guy, and this is of course Jose Manuel, who broke into those top placings, and what a future this guy has. So, Matt, talk about this kid.
Mate, unreal. Absolutely unreal. I saw him get his Olympia qualification. I was in Alicante in Spain when he got it. And I saw him at that show, and he won that quite easily. I thought, Jesus Christ, like, he looks insane. And he's only like 22, isn't he? He's so young.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, he's got a huge future ahead of him. I don't know what he is in relation to his weight cap, if he's maxing it out already or not, but yeah, he was just super impressive, man. Super impressive. It was great to see him getting that first call out. Those glutes.
Gosh, Maley, what do you make of his physique?
His back, just all of it.
Yeah, his back shots, I think, one of my favourites in that division. And I remember when he did his qualifier, Olympia qualifier, like that was a real kind of wow factor for a lot of people, because he got his pro card as an open, I think, didn't he? And then he went classic from there. And sometimes I wonder if that's the right decision, but definitely is. And hopefully he's not too close to his weight cap, because you know, if you're 22 and tapping out, that's a long old career of not really going anywhere. But like, he doesn't need to go a lot further. Like, what did he get, 6th? So
yeah, 6, yeah.
So I mean, the future is definitely bright. But I hope there is scope for progression, because that's the only thing about a classic, is there comes a point where you just got to kind of turn up each year as you are with.
Yeah. Well, look, we've looked at the future. Let's just talk about the present that actually ended on the day. And look, I mean, there's only so much we could talk about this guy, but Chris Bumstead, 6 Olympias wins. I mean, look, just quickly go around. Did we all have it as a convincing win, or did we all find it a little bit close in some areas? With Mike, let's just go around quickly. Matt, let me start with you.
I think it was the most he's ever been pushed, but it was still Chris's win.
Yeah. Josh, Maley?
Yeah, just drawn to him like over everyone. Like, I had to actively look at Mike to appreciate the proximity, but like, yeah, for me it was a one-man show.
Josh Blue?
I do think, it was a clear-cut win. Like I would say, I'd have him first all day long, but like you said, Matt, I definitely think that's the closest it's been pushed. Mike just improved no end, and I think because you didn't expect to see him in second, like coming into the show, I thought he might get like 5th, 6th, or whatever. That made me couldn't help but look at him, because when he got put next to him, I was like, I'm actually going to really look at this dude now. And then he was looking, I was like, okay, his condition is wicked. Actually, yeah, his flow is great. His V-tape is awesome. And I was like, hang on a minute. And I thought, it's just Sebum's presence. I was like, I almost think if that was both their first ever show and we had never seen him before in our lives, I think it may have could have gone either way. But you just can't. He has an aura about and a presence, stage presence, and that all comes into account as well. It's not clear cut and dry. But yeah, I would have had him first all day long.
Even the live stream commentators actually backed up what you said, because when the judges called out most classic pose and Chris hit the rear twisting bicep, and then Mike went to do the same, the commentators were like, "Oh, don't do the same pose as Chris," and then he hit it, and they were like, "Oh, actually,
it actually looked good, yeah, it looked good."
Yeah. That video got me 1.5 million views. I did a whole clickbait. I said, "Oh, Mike, what have you just done?" I was like, "What is he done? What is he done?" And obviously, yeah. Thank you for those 1.5 million views. But no, I also had Sebum. I mean, I'm as a clear winner just because of just his presence, his aura. But I guess I want to throw this question to you guys. I mean, how much of a loss is this going to be to bodybuilding with no more Chris Bumstead as a competitor? Because you got to think, this guy's got 25 million followers. This is unheard of. I mean, I guess my question really is, could we see another Chris Bumstead in the future? Because in my eyes, the only way we see somebody reach those kind of levels is, first off, it needs to come from another country that has no other competitors, like India, for example, that ends up winning the Olympia, who then moves to America, who speaks English, who can have 1 billion people behind him to get behind that competitor. I mean, that's the only way. And even that's unheard of, because we're yet to get Indian footballer in the Premier League. So I don't know how we're going to get an Olympia champion. But that's how much of a dream world I need to go in to actually find, could there ever be somebody that could deliver those numbers? I mean, Matt, you're nodding, shaky head. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you, mate. I don't think there's no current competitors that would ever rival what Chris has done. So it'd have to be someone that came up out of nowhere, I think. But because he came kind of almost, yes, he started after the division started, but he kind of grew the division, to be quite honest. And now the division's already established. I don't think anyone can replicate what he's done.
Where does he rank in the all-time greats?
Oh, that's a real thing.
Because you got to think as well the influence he's had on not. I mean, don't forget when he announced his retirement, that post was on all the mainstream Instagram pages, which had like 50, 60 million followers. This blew social media, and that shows on his numbers. This is a guy who's got more followers than Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, KSI. I mean, he's up there. He's only like a couple of million behind Logan Paul. This shows you how across the mainstream world he is. And now he's shared. He's got shares in Gymshark. It looks like he's going to get some shares in Olympia, because in the post-Olympia, he announced that he's looking to get involved and grow the classic, especially the prize money. So clearly, if the Olympia had any brains, they'll be offering some shares or percentage into the business. So, I mean, Josh Blue and Josh Maley, where do we rank him in the all-time greats when you think of a Schwarzeneggers and Ronnie Coleman's?
I think it would. It's hard because he's done so much for, like you say, he's bridged that gap between your 15-year-old, like let's call him just a 15-year-old Gymshark kid who goes to the gym and there's not an open bodybuilder that doesn't respect him just from what he's done. So I think he's just bridged that gap between everybody. I don't really know anybody that's done that, to be fair, and got that mainstream. So he's got to be up there. It's hard when you say Schwarzenegger. I'm thinking Schwarzenegger, Coleman. I'm thinking all the 90s bodybuilders. I'm like Lavrone. Like they're all massive deals. But I would say he's got to be in the top 5 of greatest bodybuilders of all time. I think I think he'll be remembered forever.
Josh Maley, come on. I'm hitting on bodybuilding now. I mentioned Ronnie Coleman and Schwarzenegger.
I can't get behind it. In terms of bodybuilding, I can't get behind it because I just think it's a different conversation. You know, like in terms of just the social media and everything. You know, like he's done a huge amount for the sport, but I'm still going to break it down to like just bodybuilding criteria. And like he's still a classic physique guy, still not an open bodybuilder.
Yeah, I do agree with you in that sense.
Yeah, I just don't think we could kind of like, and that's credit to him to be able to be like in his own conversation, like, you know, dominant within the class, build the class, just a crazy, you know, following. And I mean, I don't like actually, this is going to be blasphemy, I don't actually follow him, but like everything I see is like, it just seems like the perfect storm for him. He came around at the right time, and he just seems extremely likable, which is fucking rare. Like in top, you know, top bodybuilding, top sport, a lot of the time, like to be that untouchable and not find, I can't, like, I've never heard anything bad about him. So I think because of that, like, yeah, of course he's going to be missed, but like it does sound like he is going to be very involved still, which is fantastic.
Well, look, I think, well, yeah, I mean, without doubt, I think it's one of those things where really you start appreciating more, and maybe you start talking more about the bodybuilders from before a few years later when you've kind of surpassed, you've seen what life is like without Chris Bumstead, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the next few years is like, and can anyone match what he brought to the table. But let's just finish off on in regards to Olympia in the most recent ones, and that's with a couple of classes, and one of them being figure. Just want to touch on this one quickly, and that's Rhea Gale and Meg Sylvester. Rhea coming in 5th place, I believe. Was it 5th place? I'm pretty sure it was 5th.
Yeah.
Somebody please nod. Yeah, there we go. So, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I know she was on the socials. She didn't really post anything from about August, September time as well. So she went very, very quiet. But wow, what a look!
Yeah, it's wicked. It's really good.
Yeah.
And of course,
waist is tiny. Waist is absolutely tiny, isn't it? Such a good structure.
That's it. And of course, we also had Meg as well, who made her debut. And I remember seeing all the checking pictures and looked absolutely unreal. She actually posted, here it is. She posted this picture, some pictures that her favorite shots from Olympia week. But I mean, look at that. I mean, Josh Maley, talk me through this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like that. Like Meg's progression in such a short period of time is ridiculous. So you know, the first Olympia, and every show she's getting substantially better. So it'll be fantastic.
That's wild.
Fascinating to see where she goes. Like I do think maybe like structurally, when you compare her to someone like Rhea, she's always going to be, you know, fighting a losing battle. But like the changes she's made, I think suggests that there's so much more to come, and I'm here for it, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited about both girls, and of course we got to give a shout out as well to Shelley, who came 6th in women's fitness as well, 2nd Olympia, unbelievable routine, and you know she's definitely the dominant one from the UK side for that. So let's just go into a quick few little things. I know I sent you guys some questions, so we're gonna go quickly around the table and around these ones. So the first one is our not the Olympia awards, but looking back at Olympia, most improved. So I'm going to go to Matt first, then Josh Maley, Josh Blue. Give me the name of the person you got down as the most improved Olympian and your reason. Matt, you go first.
I'll stick to the men's physique category, and most improved has to be Ali. I mean, last year he didn't even place, and then this year he's 2nd in the world. Yes, he wasn't quite on Ryan Terry's level yet, but that amount of progression that he got was extremely impressive. And I think in another year or 2 more time, when he has a bit more density to his physique, it's going to be a lot closer. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Ali.
Josh Maley, who's yours?
I'm going Keon in 212, especially the comparison of last year and this year with his back shots. Are just like to make that much progress as an Olympia champ is dangerous. And I know you were saying, or someone was saying, like Ryan was the most dominant win. Like I think Keon was. Like wasn't even like. He's on a different level. Like, I don't necessarily like the argument that people were like, "Oh, what would happen if he went into open?" But you can see how he would be a threat already. I'm glad he's staying in 212 because I like dominance, and I hope he can really just assert and own that. But yeah, if he makes any improvements close to that over this next year, then it's just going to be a one-man show again, which I think in certain classes is good. Like having that like guy who's just like, can anyone get close to him? Like Chris in physique, classic physique. Like, can anyone get close to them? I just don't think anyone's going to for a while.
Josh Blue, yours?
I have got someone. I was actually going to say Keon as well, because honestly, if you put last year to this year, I was like, if someone said that was 3 years, you'd go, "Wow, that's amazing." It's just unbelievable. I'm going to say Mike Sommerfeld, obviously in classic, because I don't think anyone's pushed Chris as much as that. Even Ramon. I know they've always compared Ramon and Chris like back and forth, but I think it was everyone knew straight away it was Chris. But even like this year, Chris didn't get straight first either. Like he didn't get straight first on the score sheet, so Mike was in first by some. I think if he even brings that next year, maybe I don't know how he's going to get a little bit tighter because he was bang on, but I think he could take it next year. So I think he improved a lot.
I had Ali Bilal, same as Matt. Anyone that comes from the last call out and takes second place. I mean, but we all made good points, all of them. But yeah, for me, it was Ali. Future superstar, Matt.
Oh, future superstar. I'm going to go with Mike. Yeah, I mean, coming second. And like I said, well, like Josh said, the closest Chris has ever been pushed before. Chris has retired. He's a future superstar in the making, really, isn't he? Those two were quite far above anyone else, even Urs in third. Like Mike was a lot better than Urs. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it to him.
Josh Maley.
Yeah, I think for me it was either Martin in open, because people were kind of talking, can they crack top six? And when you actually break down like the top six pre-show and the amount of guys and quality there was, it seemed unlikely. And then really he was pushing for third. Yeah, I'm going to go him. I also had the young 22-year-old Jose as someone just because 22 looked like that. Oh my God, I'm thinking back to when I was 22.
What about you, Josh Blue?
Mate, me and you are on the exact same wavelength, but I was going to say exact two people. Like that Jose, I look at him at 22 and I'm like, cool, I'm going to stop training. Like, what's the like? It's just 22 years old. Look at myself when I was 22. I was about 4 stone wet through. Martin Fitzwater. I honestly think he had the best, most muscular in the show. Like when he hit that most muscular, it's just like, Jesus. It was like, I feel like he had the most balanced physique in the show, probably like top to bottom. Everything was proportioned really well. I think he could be insane. I think he looks wicked.
Yeah, for me, it was Jose Manuel. I mean, anyone that's 22 that could look like that, breaking the top six, I could see their overall look, good looking lad, great physique, and really does. I mean, for young pros like one of UK's own Jack Eagles, it's other people to kind of know that. You know what, you can break into Olympia at that kind of young age, but it's also at the same time, it's incredible to see. Underperforming. Who underperformed? Just one name, Matt. Who was on your list?
Oh, I'm sorry, Emil, if you watch this, Matt. I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to flip it as a positive. I only think you underperformed because I know you can do a lot better. I really feel like he could have placed higher if he just sorted out the poses. His transitions are great, but the mandatories are what's going to get you placed. So if you sort those out, I'm sure he would have placed a lot higher. So I'm going to go with that.
Josh Maley?
I'm going to stick with open and go Mo Fuda. Just like I've not actually seen many pictures of him, but to see that he was second to last, with that sort of genetic shape and structure, I was surprised. So he must have come in off. Yeah.
Josh Blue?
I'm only going to say him because I think everyone expected him to be better, was Wesley. I think everyone just expected him to be put next to Chris. And because he's taller and he actually weighed in 8 pounds heavier at weigh-ins than Chris, I think everyone's expecting just to see that. And it's kind of like, just a bit underwhelming. So,
yeah. I was going to say Wesley, but I'm going to change to somebody else. I'm going to change to Brandon Curry. Only for the reason is that for anybody that's going to stay undercover for that long, then I was expecting to see something great. And unfortunately, as a past Mr. Olympia, it wasn't to be. And I can't see him coming back up, but that's not taking away anything from the Olympian title. But like I said, if you keep yourself undercover, I'm expecting to see something great. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
Well, it's one of two ways. It's either great or you're in trouble.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, you know what? Controversial, but at least he didn't back out like 2 weeks out and saying I don't look good. I'm just going to.
That's for another episode. Okay, Next one, guys. So I did a post the other day and I said that I really believe next year, 2025, we're going to see a record of UK athletes. So I did throw this question to you guys earlier. I'm going to start with Josh Maley. So let's pretend that obviously Samson Ryan is already automatically qualified for the Olympia. Let's pretend there are other competitors who were at the Olympia 2024 from the UK are qualified. Give me 2 to 3 names who, if you went to the bookies right now and you put your money on them, that you would feel that, you know what, yeah, they are going to make the 2025 Olympia representing UK. So you got the open class.
Yeah, so I'll go open. So, I mean, just providing they both compete, James Hollinshead, you know, he doesn't deserve to be there. Like, he needs to be the Olympia. It's just a matter of when. And for me, one of my favourite humans and favourite bodybuilders, Sas, just like, yeah, he needs to be in the Olympia. So, and they like, it's not just, I suppose, personal favoritism. Like, they have every tool in the box to be there. And I know Sas is off season, and if he's doing it proper, then, you know, he's going to be a real threat. I think the fire was lit this year for him, which it hasn't been necessarily for the past few. So that's exciting and dangerous.
Is Sas planning to compete there in 2025?
I'm not sure, but like, I know that he is actively off seasoning, which, you know, for him to be, you know, going social with that, I think suggests that there's a plan in place to get back up there.
I'm pretty sure that's his game plan. Again, I saw him compete in that Alicante show, and he was extremely impressive. And that was his comeback show, and I think he came 4th or something like that. It was really good.
Josh Blue, classic. So let's pretend Darwin's already qualified for Olympia. 2 or 3 names where if you went to the bookies right now, dropped $1,000, that you would feel comfortable that these guys will make the Olympia in 2025.
Dropped $1,000. These guys better not let me down. It's hard. You know what? I've got no like real clue other than this weekend who's destined to compete this season. You mentioned Jack Eagles earlier, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do his pro debut this year, is he? Well, his actual pro debut. I really can see him qualifying, just because his shape is ridiculous. He's just put on a crazy amount of size, and obviously if he's going to get in his weight cap, I can't see why not, to be honest. I know there's going to be guys out there probably like more conditioned and things like that, but his shape is phenomenal for such a young age. So I could see him qualifying, and I'm also going to say, Yemi, and I know, and I'm sure that he knows, I don't speak to him a great deal, but he does need more thickness. Like, he's got long limbs, but you just can't take away that V-taper weight. It's just absolutely insane. And if they're going to go like down a shapely route for that, I can see him doing it, depending on what show he does and picks. But yeah, UK guys thinking classic. Yeah, I don't know who's going to actually take to the stage this year. Maybe me. I'm going to get my pro card earlier next year and qualify straight for the O. So there you go. There's another one.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think Yemi's got a good shot this weekend. There's only 6 of them on stage.
He has, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
I'll be at PCA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I have got a guy in the Classic Pro Show though.
Oh, wicked.
So hopefully he'll do well. But yeah, it should be a good one.
Matt, men's physique. So Ryan's already qualified. Let's assume that Emil is there. Let's say he does a show, he gets qualified. Give me 2 or 3 names. And like I said, same thing. You drop $1,000 at the bookies. You're saying these guys go to Olympia. Who are they?
Obviously Emil will get there. He's pretty consistent with that. So yeah, taking him aside then. So I'm going to say Yemi, not the classic Yemi, men's physique Yemi. He's also competing this weekend. He's got phenomenal structure. And he's one of the favorites for this weekend for sure. I think Mitch Starr's got a really good shot. Each year he's getting consistently better and better. He doesn't go for small shows. You know, if he went for a mid-tier or a low-tier show, I think he'd already be an Olympian, to be honest. But he likes to go to America and go for the top-tier show. So fair play to him. I think he will get through. And the last one, I'm not just saying it because he's my client. He's still an amateur, but I've seen him next to Olympians.
I know you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say. Tamas Godo. He's going to get there. So Tamas, I would put £1,000 on it, mate. That's how much I believe in you, buddy. So Yeah, that's my 3.
Well, look, I'm going to finish off the other classes. So bikini, I put down 3 names here because I know Ifbb Hagen's returning in 2025. So I kind of expect that she'll be there. I put out Kerry Sexton. I mean, look, I know she's competing this weekend in Hungary. Jessica Feeney's already qualified. It's up against her. But just like when she won a pro card, it was like her last attempt to win a pro card that year. And it seems like it's like striking twice. It's her last attempt I think she's going for to get a qualification for Olympia. So I think she's going to take that. And I've also put down Charlotte Ellis. She did a few shows in Thailand and Taiwan, in Japan, came second. I think she's definitely got a great chance in making Olympia next year. Wellness, I put down 2 girls, Chloe Pickford. She's doing Romania in a couple of weeks' time. She's looking great. She's got all the credentials to make the Olympia 2025. And Maya Blair, she did the America shows this year, had some good placings, great shape, got a lot of good exposure over there. So I definitely think she's one to watch on the wellness side. Figure, look, I mean, as we said, Rhea Meg did America shows, so they should qualify for next year. But another person I put in there, she did a post of it just now. She's taking a 12-month off season, and that's Big Sophie Jenkins. Tall girl, I think she did in a pro debut. She came 3rd, I think. But from the improvements she's made, I think she could definitely be a big push to get to the Olympia. And one of the person I put in there as well in women's physique is Sarah Bradley. I think she'll be pushing it. I think her pro debut as well, maybe it was 3rd. I need to check again with Tom Hames, but I remember seeing her pro debut in that it makes some top placings. But once again, another serious year off season, put some size in, has the shape, has the symmetry, and if she's going to bring on extra muscle as well, compete with the bigger girls, I could definitely see her taking one of those qualifications to the Olympia. So yeah, okay, guys, we've gone through all of this, and now we're going to finish off. I just said we're going to be an hour, and this has got 7 minutes over, but we're going to do maybe if it's 2 minutes. So final quiz. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. There's been 19 Mr. Olympia winners. So what we're going to do, we're going to go around the table. I'm not playing. I've got the answers.
No.
The moment you get it wrong, you're out. So we've got 19 names. We're going to start with Josh Blue going first, Matt coming second, and Josh Maley, you are the bodybuilder. I expect your knowledge to be on point here. You're going 3rd. So we're going to go
in date order.
No date order. Give me any name. God. And the first one that gets it wrong.
Are we going with men's physique, Mr. Olympias? Yeah.
Which is going to the open bodybuilders. 19 names. Josh Blue, you go first.
Chris Dickerson.
Yes.
Oh.
Matt, you're next.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Well, it's Ronnie Coleman, the group.
Yes.
Jay Cutler.
Yes.
Dorian Yates.
Okay, of course he is.
Lee Haney.
Lee Haney, yes, mate.
Samson Dowder.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, you're next.
Hadi Chupin.
Yes.
Brandon Curry.
Yep.
Derek Lunsford.
Yes, mate. Oh, that was getting interesting.
Big Ramy.
Yes, mate.
Sean Roden.
Frank Zane.
Sorry?
Was it my
Josh Maley.
Worked either way.
We've got Josh Maley.
I went Sean Roden.
Yes, mate. Josh Blue, your turn.
Frank Zane.
Yes.
I was going to say Frank Zane. He's got me.
I'll give you 5 seconds.
Nah, I'm gone. I'm out.
Okay,
how many have we done?
Wait, no, you got this. Give you time to think. You've got like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, there's 6 left.
Yeah.
We said Jay Cutler.
You said Jay Cutler.
Oh, we said Jay Cutler.
Give you one more. You can't really give. I can't believe no one said this name. This
I got 2.
Oh, he's killing it.
Josh May, give me 5 seconds.
Oh, I'm under pressure. I'm panicking.
Josh, you are out. Go on, Josh Blue, take it.
I was going to say Samir Banut.
Yes, mate. Do you want to keep going?
And I was going to say, who's my other one? Sergio Oliva.
Keep going. Anybody else?
Sergio Oliva, Chris Dickerson, Frank Zane. Oh, who's the other guy? Who was the other guy in between that? Who was the first guy?
And that's it. All right, guys. I'm going to give you the answers. What did you miss? Larry Scott.
Larry Scott.
And please tell me, how did you miss these ones? We got Dexter Jackson.
Oh. We missed him between the whole Jay Cutler, Ronnie bit.
And
no.
PHIL Heath.
Holy fuck.
Probably like the second best.
Oh my god!
Ever walked the
I was going to say that early doors, and now I did it.
It was when we went like the whole that era of like Cutler, Coleman, and then we kind of just went back to Lunsford, and then we just missed it all.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is a wrap. Thank you very much. That is the end of the Olympia recap, and next week we've got a recap of the PCA British Finals and the Two Bros British Finals. Even though I am blocked, I've still got ways of keeping the coverage. But appreciate you guys be on there and tune in for next week's recap for the PCA Finals and Two Bros Finals.
Appreciate it, Mel. Thank you.
Thank you very much.